Satnam aloha, everybody. I just want to see if we're on. There's a slight delay. Let me see the comments. Yay, there we go. So if you can put your hi, Lisa. Aloha, everybody. I just want to see if we're on. Just your name and where you're from. That would be cool if you did that. Okay. So I hope everybody's doing well. We've got that crazy Uranus square Mars, which you're probably feeling now, and we're going to be feeling that all week long. And so just a reminder that in terms of handling your emotions, because this can bring up a lot of emotional reaction in yourself and others. And this is also depression, because there's some people that I've been talking to that, oh, I don't feel angry, but I feel really depressed. I feel exhausted and tired. Well, that's emotions turning inward, right? It's like anger that wants to be expressed is turning inward on the self. So that is also how we can be affected by this Mars-Uranus square. So it's best just to take your time and just stay grounded. More importantly, because accidents can happen like road rage, things like that. And I have free meditations on my website. So neutrinoastrology.com. And you'll see on the first page, if you go down the free stuff, there's lots of meditations that you can do, especially for your emotions. And then, of course, my YouTube channel. Okay. So keep that in mind. I wanted to announce that. And this is the first live stream I haven't done one in a while, I guess, and not this format. Oh, right on from Nova Scotia, Canada. Hey, Peggy and Robert and Kimberly, so far. In this format too. So I've been really called to work with, because I work with people to uncover their uniqueness, right? Their original self. So this is a way to really focus in on you and what you need to work with, especially in these next couple months. So from March 18th to July 31st, 2022. And this is when the karmic axis has changed, right? From shadow pattern. So I did a video on that if you want to learn more. Okay, my last video. And we'll see how it goes. So if you really like this format, you got to give me a thumbs up and you've got to comment like, I really love this and keep doing this, because I'm a double Leo. And thank you. I've said this before. Thank you goes a long way for me. It keeps me going just to get a thank you for people. Okay. So we'll see how it goes. So the south node of the moon, right, is what we're leaving behind. And the north node indicates where what we're supposed to embrace, right, for our soul's evolution. So as a collective and also as an individual. So we're leaving behind the shadow of deafness. The shadow of deafness, that's the 43. And this is being deaf to our own inner wisdom. It's being deaf to your intuition, my intuition, our intuition. When we don't listen to that small inner voice, what are we listening to? We got to listen to something, right? Well, we listen to the ego. Okay, so you want to watch the other video I did too, with the difference between the voice of the ego and the voice of the soul. So that's how you can discern. Okay, because the ego can trick us into thinking that it's our soul talking. And also listening to the status quo, right? That's also the collective ego that's out there. So the mainstream news or other people that you believe have more authority over you, listening to them. That's also deafness. This is about the rebel, right? That I talked about in that last video, the archetype of the rebel. And what's the true rebel? The true rebel listens to their own inner voice of their soul, right? That's the true rebel, not the low frequency rebel, which is in reaction, right? Reaction to life. So this is about making someone else's voice more important than your own. Deafness. And the shadow of deafness makes you busy, active, right? Worrying about things that you can't control. So we're leaving all that behind and we're embracing the gift of simplicity. So when we're deaf to our own inner voice, that makes our lives complex. That's the opposite of simplicity. So as your frequency rises, the more this gift of simplicity comes into your life, right? So even feel the frequency of that word, simplicity. It's very calming. It calms me just to say it out loud, simplicity. And some people believe that simplicity is equated with stupidity, right? It's even in our language. He's simple, right? She's simple-minded. So remember, we live in an upside-down world that's coming right side up for the Aquarian age. And simplicity and truth is the mark of a genius, simplicity. Complexity is to make the simple complex, right? That's the intellect. You hear the intellectuals like they make everything so complex, right? That's the intellect. So have you noticed with the different systems that we have out there, right? They have their own lexicon. They have their own language. The legal system is a perfect example of this, or the medical system, or the financial system, with all their made up language, complicated language. And this is in order so people don't understand, right? And then people think, well, they're more intelligent than me because I don't understand this, so they must be smarter than me. And this is purposefully done to control the masses, right? Or that person's using a lot of big sounding words, multiple syllables that you rarely hear used, right? You've got to run to the dictionary to like, what are they talking about? You've got to decipher it, right? To bring it into simple language. So the purpose of communication, right? Communication is to relay your message in a way that that other person can understand. Communication isn't about you. It's about that other person. So any good teacher worth their salt knows this, right? It's the so-called experts that they're unable to communicate their field of study in a simple way. They're not an expert. It means they don't understand their subject, right? If they can't communicate it in a simple way that anyone can understand. So simplicity is to make the complex simple. This is the mark of a true genius. And notice the timeless teachings, right? Spiritual wisdom. They're simple, right? Spiritual wisdom is simple, isn't it? Right? Truth is simple. So as a collective, we're being called to simplify our lives. And I feel like that's what all this inflation and the increase in costs are about this lesson, is to get rid of the excess, right? Do people really need more than one house? Do people need more than one or two cars if there's two people in the household? Right? And I read the other day that someone paid $500,000 for a football. $500,000 for a football. So I'm just speaking generally, right? Like that's just an example of like the extreme, right? Of our values, how warped our values are and have been for a while. And we've been conditioned to believe that we need to accumulate more and more material things. And that means we're successful, right? If we have all these material things around us. But this accumulation makes life way more complex. And I remember when The Secret came out, right? The Secret came out, that movie, The Secret. And I remember attending a workshop, like a spiritual workshop. And all the New Agers were all over this law of attraction, right? And we're all doing our vision boards and we're cutting out pictures from magazines of what we wanted. So some people had their cars and their houses and their pools and their fancy vacations. And my vision board was empty because all I could think about was, well, if I put this car on my board, I've got to take care of it. I have to insure it. I have to maintain it. I have to worry about it if it gets stolen, right? Where would I park it? I'd have to pay for a parking spot. It was causing me stress, right? That's making life way more complex. So at that time, I was part of a car co-op in the city, and that worked best for me. So if the car breaks down, someone else is responsible to repair it, right? Ownership comes with a lot of responsibility, and house and landowners know this. So the truth is, the capital T truth is, we don't really own anything, right? It's insane that we believe that we own even a piece of this earth. Sure, we can be stewards of that piece of land for our lifetime, but to own it, that's right. That's not the truth. We came in with nothing, right? But our soul, and we'll leave with nothing but our soul. So this is like bringing everything to the simple, right? To the simple. So think of that yourself. Like, what do you really need in this lifetime in terms of material possessions? So as you listen to the rest of this video, meditate on how you can simplify your life, right? And when we simplify our lives, we bring peace to our lives, right? Okay. So just a quick note, because we don't lose. Okay, we're embracing simplicity, but we don't lose the theme of the year, which is embracing our uniqueness. So just a reminder that I've got my recorded readings, still $25 off, and it shows you what your vehicle needs. It's not a homogenization, one size fits all for every human being. We're all different in how our brain works and the kinds of foods we need, what environment we need, all that stuff. So check that out on my website. So according to your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign, you're going to know which area of your life that this growth will take place for you. So remember, awareness is power when you have awareness, and it's very energy efficient, and the projectors are all over that, energy efficient. Let's use our energy in a very focused way until July 31st, right? And work with this shadow pattern. So what was I going to say about that? So sometimes your sun sign and say your moon sign are like opposites. So maybe you're a Leo sun sign, and then you're an Aquarius moon. Those are like opposite. So it will seem like the advice is like, oh, they're kind of in conflict with one another. Well, you want to go with your ascending sign, your ascendant, your rising. That's most important. And then the moon, and then the sun, go in that order. And if it's opposite, there may be a little bit of balance that you need to bring into those two areas of your life. So keep that in mind. And also, it's good to have your human design chart too, right? And I'll put that in the description box after this video is uploaded. It's all free, and then your free astrology chart too. And that will show you if you got the 23 and the 43 in any positions. That will give you more information, right? Especially if it's in the sun, if you have this in the sun and the moon. Unconscious, the red side or the black side, it's going to be doubly important for you. Okay. Okay. So everybody that's online, okay, more people have joined in. That's great. From Chile too. Chile, Minnesota, Gardens, Scotland. Awesome. California, of course. From all over. That's great. So when we get to your sign, just pipe in and say, Aries moon or Aries rising, or right? Okay. It's just somebody calling here. I'm just going to turn this off in airport mode. There we go. Okay. So let me just get I've got overlays too, which makes it easier for people that are watching later on, right? To fast forward to their sign if they're not interested in listening to the whole thing. Okay, so you can see here on the left, right? That's from the human design chart. That's where this comes from. It's the 4323. So it's going from the ajna to the throat center. It's the Freak the Genius channel. I love the Freak the Genius channel. Like I said in my last video, both my parents have this. One was Scorpio, one was Taurus. So they were the complete opposite, but the same degree, right? And just blurters, they blurt things out. So you can really get the stink eye. That's what they call it in Hawaii, the stink eye. When somebody says something and it just not right, it's like they're crazy. Who are they? You can get that. So it's all about timing with this chart, with this channel. Okay, it's all about your timing. And so this is going to be in transit, right? We all have this now. We all have this. It's not ours, like natally, unless you have it natally, but it's going to affect us and how we speak to one another. So it's best if you're invited. This is a projector channel. If you're invited to give your insight. So the beauty of this is like, it's very wise. This channel is very, very wise. And you have the ability, when you're correct with it, to completely reframe someone's frame of, reframe how they see things and see their life. And it can be really like impactful for someone, and how they view the world. So just keep that in mind, that you're invited. It's all about timing, right? It's all about timing. And what may come through for you could be quite radical, right? Because it's very rebellious, this 4323. Okay. So let's go for Aries first. Okay. So you see the North Node up there, right? Simplicity. And then the letting go of deafness. And deafness is not listening to your own inner self, right? We're letting that go and embracing this gift of simplicity. So if you're an Aries rising or an Aries sun or moon, you're going to let go of this shadow of deafness in your 8th house. So this is listening to your worrying mind and becoming overly concerned and focused on other people that you share resources with. So this could be your spouse or your partner or a roommate even, or people that you pay for your services, right? They're giving you money. So you could be worried about the government, right? Or am I going to be receiving money from them, or will they want their cut, right, of my booty? And what's going to happen when the collapse of the dollar comes? These are like examples of how that 8th house can work. Worried that you'll become a social outcast, right? That's a fear with the shadow pattern. And how will you survive without other people giving you money, right? How will I survive without another person? And especially with Uranus and Taurus there, right, in your second house, can bring up a lot of money stuff, a lot of survival issues. But remember, Uranus is there to liberate, right? Wherever it is in your chart, it's there to liberate you, right, from that repression and these false beliefs. So not listening to your intuition, you're listening to your mind. And then the shadow of noise, right? Deafness is the shadow of noise that keeps you hustling and hassling, right? I need to come up with a strategy. I need to come up with a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. I laugh at that now. It's the Aquarian age, like kiss all that goodbye. We're in a different world now, right? With these 5-year plans, 10-year plans. Right. I'm laughing about it. I know that it can create suffering for people, but you've got to have a sense of humor about it too, right? It's a whole new world. So we need to embrace this new world. That's here. I feel it. And if you're sensitive to energy, you can feel it. It's already here. It's just taking its time to really bloom and blossom. So this 5-year, 10-year strategy, right? Hustling and hassling, makes your life and your thinking very complex, right? That complexity. And this is the I, right? And as soon as you're in the space of I, it brings fear, right? And Aries wants to charge ahead. They're the ram, right? They want to do something, right? To get rid of this fear. So money problems are really fear problems, right? Money problems are fear problems. If we didn't have money, money represents fear on the external world, in the external world. If we didn't have money, we'd have something else, maybe food or something like that, right? But right now, money is holding that frequency of fear for the collective. So money problems are fear problems. And so what's the fear here, right? And this is what you're called, Aries people. To heal is to become whole and come into truth around money. So what's the fear? Well, the fear is that you have no intrinsic value, that you don't have any self-value. That's the real fear. That's the deep fear that you have to go in and address. That's your shadow work. So now you're being called to let go of this anxiety, because it can keep you up at night, and bring your awareness, right, from outside here and how am I going to control the external, back inside to your own self-value. So essentially, you're the money. That reminds me of that movie, Las Vegas. I forget what it was called. Vince Vaughn was in it. Your money, baby, right? You're essentially money. Your money. The resources are inside you, right? The ATM is inside you. And God's ATM never closes. Well, that doesn't make sense. If they cut me open, they wouldn't find money. But you're the one creating the money, right? You're the money, right? It's all inside you. Those resources are inside you. So the gift of simplification, simplicity, is to know I share my inner resources with others, right? My gifts, my talents, right? That was the ancient word for currency and money, was talent, right? I share my inner resources with others, not to get something, but out of my own sense of abundance, right? I always think of the 10 of cups in the tarot card, the pyramid of the cups, 1 and 2 and then 3. There, and when one cup is overflowing with water into the next row, and then that's overflowing into the bottom row. Well, your inner resources are like this. They're here to be shared with others. And then the outer material resources are reflected back to you when you do that. So as I give, so I shall receive. That's the universal law. That's the divine law. So these are divine gifts that are given to you at birth, and they're not for you. Those gifts are not for you. They're for other people. They're to share with other people. So this is like an expansion, right? To expand Aries into this new way of being and really look at what you need in terms of money. Like, what do you really, really need? And do you have what you need right now in this present moment? Not tomorrow or next week, but right now. You always have what you need right now. Always. I'm a testament to that. So, and also look at where you are in excess, right? And are you making your life more complicated than it needs to be? And where are you stopping that flow of abundance, right? Through this shadow of complexity and deafness, like stopping it from reaching you. So look at your issues, like really go deep with your issues around self-value and self-esteem. And this is also about valuing your uniqueness. Remember that 8 is always also in your second house. So it's all about valuing your uniqueness and that you have a unique gift to offer the world. Nobody else has it but you, right? There's only one you on the planet. And also look at any unresolved issues with your father, right? And I've got my father wound webinar, and that can really help you too. Money issues are connected to the father. So you want to bring your focus off other people and the belief that they hold your fate, right? They're the ones that hold the fate of my survival in their hands, right? You want to take the focus off that and bring it back to you, that you have everything that you need inside you. You just need to unlock that treasure chest that's inside you with the gift of simplicity, right? So let that frequency of that word be the key, right, to unlock that treasure chest in the next few months. Okay, and then next is the bull, Taurus. Okay, let me just get my thing here. There we go. I'll get faster with this in a second. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay, Taurus should be coming up. Oh, I see what I have to do. Is that it there? Oh. Just bear with me. This is being live. Okay. Okay, me and the zodiac. Not that. Scene lock. I don't know why it's not coming up. Okay, just one more try. I know if I quit, it would work, but I don't want to do that. Well, maybe it's because of this. Oh, there we go. Yay. Okay, so let's go for Taurus. So Taurus is the seventh house, first house. So if you're a Taurus rising sun or moon, the letting go of this shadow pattern of deafness takes place in your seventh house. So this is the shadow that has you over focused on partnership, right? And being in relationship. So worried about other people, right? On your partner or lack of partner if you're single. And relationships can make life complex, right? They can make life very uncomplex. So it's said that if we're single, for the single people, the single bulls out there, that we're blessed, right? If we're single, because the divines rearranged your life so that you can have times of solitude, right? To bring your attention to your spiritual evolution. And people in relationship with children and family, they don't have that luxury, right? So this is a good way to look at it if you've been single for a while, right? That you're actually blessed. And then, yeah. So the shadow of deafness here is showing that you may be under some societal conditioning, right? That you're a weirdo if you're not in a relationship. There's a real stigma to be single, right? And there's more and more single people now in the world. I just read an article about that. Or believing that because the Aquarian relationships are coming in, right? And we're coming together for completely different reasons, not for procreation anymore. It's about higher consciousness. Or we can believe that relationships have to be this way. If you're in a committed relationship, you must live together. And if you don't live together, you're not in a real relationship, right? So you got to spend this much time together and do this together and go on all the holidays together and go on vacations together. You know, the rules. There's these unwritten relationship rules. So all of this is breaking apart for the Aquarian age. So listening to the status quo instead of listening to your own intuition, right? So making your, looking and seeking a relationship or making it much more important than your own self makes life really, really complex. So now you're called to embrace yourself and to focus on yourself and to simplify. That's the first house. So what do you want in your relationships? And this is if you're in a relationship too, because you can have a rebirth, right? A resurrection of your present relationship if your partner's into that, right? Remember the mirror shifts. It's a mirror. Relationships are a mirror. So when you shift, that other person has to shift with you because they're the mirror. And if they don't, then they're taken out, right? Somebody else comes in or you remain single. So this is a good thing, right? Go simple. What do I want in my relationship? What are the most important values to me in relationship? Separate from your conditioning, right? And also this is about focusing on your physical body, like working out, exercising, improving your appearance. And not for the other person, but for you, right? So keep it all simple. You just want to listen to your intuition. So just little things that you can do to focus on your body and your appearance. So you want this in a simple way. Like maybe you don't want to go to do a gym membership, right? There's so much money and you miss, right? The travel time, dealing with other people's energy if you're sensitive, right? The money, the cost. So you can go simple, right? You go on Amazon, you can buy these exercise bands or dumbbells and follow a YouTube exercise video at home. And then you save money, you save time. So that's like a gift, right? An example of this gift of simplicity. Cold showers, Ishnan therapy, right? I've been doing that since January, cold shower every morning. I know it sounds masochistic sometimes, but I actually look forward to it now, right? And it makes you feel really, really good, right? There's a whole technology to it. I won't get too much into it on this video, but that cold water forces your capillaries to release all the toxins, right? All the toxins come to the surface. And then energetically, what it does to your mind, it brings up all that negativity, any negativity that you've taken on, yesterday, the day before, or the night, right? It releases all of that, and it's a shock to the body, right? It's a total shock to the body, and it's like you can't deny that you're alive when you've got cold water coming at you. So that's another simple way, and it makes your skin really, really vibrant. I noticed that. So the lesson here is to bring, for Taurus, is to bring all that energy that you've been wasting on other people, right? And back to yourself. And really, there's no greater aphrodisiac than a person who's on purpose, right? Knows what they want, who they are, and they're just moving forward in life, right? So this is a time that the energy's showing you that you have to focus on yourself, right? And Uranus is in there too, so it's going to help you liberate any codependent dynamics that you may have, anything like that. Any Taurus out there? I'm not here. I'm not seeing any signs. Yeah. Taurus sun. Oh, look at that. Love my dog. Okay. A sun. Yeah. Okay, we got a few Taurus. I'm Taurus too, Taurus sun. Okay. Okay, so let's go for Gemini. Oh, how did I do this again? Okay. Gemini, there we go. Just gonna put that right there so I can get faster. So Gemini rising sun or moon is letting go of this shadow of deafness in their 6th house. So this can be making your health routine overly complex, right? Your health and your body. So the 1st house is all about your appearance, right? How you appear in the world. It's not so much about health. It's about beauty, right? But the 6th house is about your body and it's about health. So Gemini people can make their routine overly complex, and Geminis do that anyway. They're naturally make things complex because of the mind, right? It rules the mind. So not trusting the innate wisdom of your own body, not trusting the strength of your body and the healing power of your body, right? Maybe reading too many health sites, right? Taking in too much information from the outside. Well, I have to eat this many times a day and these amount of carbs and this amount of protein, and instead of simplicity, which is just to listen to your body and eat what it wants to eat and don't eat when it doesn't want to eat. But it requires you to get out of your head and to be in your body and to listen to your body, right? So you're the expert of your own body, not somebody else. And our bodies are all different. We're not homogenized in what we need. We aren't machines. This is the energy drinks. Have you ever noticed what an energy drink looks like? It looks like an oil can that you put in your car, right? It's all about this consciousness that wants us to be these homogenized machines, you know, all eating bug burgers and, right, eating all the same foods, because this is what we're most conditioned by, is our food. And this is the recorded readings that I get into, right? What foods you need to eat. So trying to fix problems, like, oh, you want to let go of that. You want to let go of there's even a problem in my life. There's a big mind shift right there, that there's even a problem, because victim and problem come together. There's no victim if there's no problem, right? No problem, no victim. So the best way to fix a problem is to wait patiently sometimes. Have you ever noticed that? Like, oh, listen, if somebody comes to me frantic about something, and you can get sucked into that energy, right? I've got to go and I've got to help them. If you just stay inside, sometimes my intuition will say, no, just wait, right? Wait. And then often what will come back is that person will email and it's like, oh, I figured it out myself, right? Or this happened. It kind of if it's a knot, it unravels itself sometimes, right? And remember one of the sutras for the Aquarian age, there's a way through every block. So there's always a way through a block. So sometimes just waiting patiently, and especially for you, Gemini, this is a really good practice for you, not to run in and try to fix everybody's problem or believe that you have a problem. So this is also about letting go of worrying about your job or lack of a job and believing the status quo is the only way to earn money to get a job. We've been conditioned to believe that. We've been conditioned to we have to go to government school, right, and get indoctrinated, and then we go get a job and a career, right? We're letting go of all of that stuff. So letting go of trying to control all of the details of your life, right? Getting trapped in the minutia and not resting or relaxing. And this can keep you up at night with insomnia, right? So our conditioning teaches us if we let go, we put down our guard for a moment, our world will fall apart, right? We've got to compete, right? We got to hustle and hassle. You got to be on your game, right? That's our conditioning. Well, and this can also bring, Geminis have issues around their nervous system because they're so high strung anyway. And this is an opportunity for you to really relax and let go, right? Relax and let go. So it reminds me of that story from India. Maybe you've heard of this, where the man's carrying a suitcase over his head, and he walks on the train. He's walking on the train, but he keeps his suitcase on his head the whole time. Instead of taking the suitcase off your head and then putting it down on the floor. So this is what the floor of the train. So this is what you're being called to do, is take that baggage off, take that load off. And it may not even be yours to carry. It might be somebody else's that you've been carrying for a while. And then trust the divine. So relax, right? Geminis, you have to relax and then give those burdens over to the divine. So this can be about simplifying your spiritual practice, right? Making time each day for solitude, to be alone with yourself, to know your own frequency, right? To get to know yourself and to connect to your higher self. And sometimes we need to get away from the hustle and hassle, hustling and bustling of the world, the modern world, and just be alone and retreat, right? Without the technology and the distractions and the disturbances, and just to be alone by yourself. And then listen to your own intuition about what's the best practice for you to recharge your soul, right? And it could just be into going into states of prayer, whatever you're called. Just call it in. That's all you have to do. It's, what do I need, divine? What's best for me to recharge my soul? And then information will come, right? The right information will come. And to help somebody, if you want to help somebody, if you're feeling like, well, I have these people in my life that are always in some kind of drama and some kind of pickle and problem, the best way sometimes just is to pray for them, right? Just to pray for them, to send them love and light. Okay? So let's go to the next one, which is Cancer. Okay. Cancer, rising sun or moon. So the shadow of deafness is taking place in your 5th house, letting go of the shadow of deafness in your 5th house. So this is about taking your focus away from your romantic partner or your children if you have, or your own artistic practice, way too much focus on that. And also about letting go of listening to the status quo about what romance is, right? There's more conditioning and brainwashing. Are those rom-com movies, right? That are so prevalent in those really bad pop songs, right? Now I listen to them with the ears of oh, this is so codependent, right? This is such a codependent movie or a codependent movie. And that's what we've been taught, that what romance is, right? So kind of letting that go and really looking at that more closely, what your definitions of romance are, letting that go, listening to your own inner intuition, right? I mean, if you've got a Virgo, it depends on your moon too. If you've got a Virgo moon, right? Romance to you is your partner like cleaning up your house, right? It's going to look different for each person, right? What romance is. I remember saying that to a Virgo moon friend of mine. She's like, "Yes, I would love that. I'd be theirs forever. They just came and cleaned and organized my home." So the belief here is that if you don't get special attention from your partner, then there's something wrong and that you have to fix it. You got to you fix it, or there's something wrong with your children or something, like an overfocus in that department, making your life complex. So this is about taking your focus off these things, right? And you're going to bring them to your friends, to your friendships. So Cancer people have to really bring their focus to friendship and bringing simplicity to your friendships, right? So the complexity is, how am I going to juggle all of these things, right? I've got my partner and I've got my children and I have this creative project that I'm doing and I don't have time for friends. Well, you want to drop those balls a little bit, and then the bigger ball is going to be your friends, right? And this can be really recharging for you. Sometimes to just be with a good friend, even for an hour or so, it's like better than therapy, like any kind of therapy. It's just to have a friend that cares about you, right? That really cares about you and has your highest and best interest in mind, and just to talk and to be listened to, right? So don't underestimate it's not a burden, Cancer. It's like something that can really help you and recharge you and soothe you, right? Cancers need that soothing. Because Cancer likes to stay in their shell, right? They want to stay in their shell and they want to hide. They don't want to bring anything more in. And maybe new friends will be coming for you, right? New friends, you'll attract new friends. So it could be easy as, if you're worried about this juggling thing, it could be easy as a walk and talk, right? If you go walking your dog every day anyway, then invite a friend along, right? Or you're driving to run errands, then get your friend on speakerphone, right? And you can talk while you're driving. It can be really, really easy and simple. Remember, it has to be simple. It's not making your life more complex. It's simplifying your life. And that's why sometimes talking things through, right? And that channel, actually, the Freak the Genius channel, is about that too. It's like talking things out, and then you discover the answer and you're talking. So sometimes just have a friend, right? Just listen to you. Like, I don't need you to fix this or give me advice. I just want you to listen to me, right? So the friend is present, and then you talk it through, and then you come up with your own answer through the talking. And some of you may already know that about yourself. Like, oh, when I talk things through, like, the solution comes to me. It is also could be about joining some humanitarian group, a group of people coming together for a common cause to make the world a better place. And this, in turn, will take the pressure off your romantic life, or the seeking a romantic partner, or the romantic partner that you already have. And this will bring you more fulfillment, right? So it can also mean connecting with people of like mind through the internet too, because the 11th house rules the internet. Okay. And we're on Leo. Is Leo coming through? Yeah. There we go. So Leo. This is taking place, the karmic axis is taking place in your 4th and 10th house. So Leo rising sun or moon, it's letting go of the shadow of deafness in your 4th house. So this is letting go of looking for emotional security. And good luck with that anyway, because wherever Scorpio is in your chart, because it's so transformative, the archetype of Scorpio, it disappears, right? So this is a fool's game, like looking for this emotional security for Leos. So this is listening to your mind in the shadow, that in order to do your purpose, right, your soul purpose, you must be emotionally secure first And then you can go out into the world, right? I just need this, and then I can go out into the world. So this is about listening to your ego, and it's about hiding. It's about hiding, right? It's about staying with the familiar. And you'll notice that word familiar has the same root word as family, right? What's familiar? So this is also about your family dynamics too. You know, all it takes is one parent to be really frightened of the world, like afraid of the world. And you as a child are going to say, well, my parent is afraid of the world. I better be afraid of the world too, right? We're breaking through all these patterns, these old emotional ancestral patterns now. So this is wanting to stay in the nest rather than start to fly. And this can, right, go back to like parents, especially the mother, right? If she taught you to fear the world, and she's there to welcome you to the world. The archetype of the mother is to welcome you to the world and know that you're safe. So overly focused on the internal self and healing and being perfect, or overly focused on your home, right? You want to let go of hiding because this makes your life way more complex. So listening to the ego that says, right, you're this and you're that, and this is who you are, and this is your weaknesses, that all comes from your past. We're letting all that go. And if you look at you, right, Leo is ruled by the sun. So you're meant to shine in public. You're meant to shine in public. You're the sun, ruled by the sun. So your ego is probably pulling the wool over your eyes, right? Still believing that you're this old self, sensitive and afraid, and I got to hide, right? It's like that story of how they train the elephants. You probably heard this before with the baby elephant. They just put a little string around the baby elephant's foot, right, and then tie it to a tree, and then the baby elephant goes so far and can't go any further. But they keep that string on the elephant and it grows huge, right? Like quadruple its size as a baby and more. And then that big elephant that could like tear that string off, no problem, and tear down that tree stops at that same place it did when it was a baby elephant. That's our conditioning, how it works, right? So this is what we're all breaking, not just Leos, we're all breaking out of this conditioning, right, that we receive, that we're much more powerful than we've been told. So this is about simplifying your work in your career, right? So it's really time to take your place in the position of power on the world stage. So you're coming more into your masculine power, right? And this is both for men and women. So true masculine power is confidence, right? And confidence comes from the root word confide and the divine. True masculine power is that unwavering presence, right? It's the perseverance. It's the ability to be one-pointed in your vision and take action. That's the true masculine power for both men and women. And we don't lose our self-node, right? Because the Leo can, but what about my home, and I'm so sensitive and I have this and that. It's like we don't lose that. We don't lose the self-node, right? You're just launching from it. You're evolving, you're expanding. So you already know how to nurture yourself, right? You know how to emotionally take care of yourself. So now it's time for you to do your soul purpose. So you go to the essence, right? Simplicity is quintessence. That's the city. So you go to the essence of what you want to do, how you're called to serve the world, right? Go to the essence, really focus on that and simplify. And you can spend some time writing out a mission statement, right? Listening to your intuition, right? To really, really, and make it simple. And then this can be your North Star as a Leo. Okay. But, you're the elephant, pushing through that little string, but it can get uncomfortable because you're facing your fears there too, right? When we expand, when we're embracing this North Node, we're gonna come face to face with our fears. Okay, that's Leo. And then let's go for Virgo. Virgo. Okay. Virgo. Yay. So Virgo, rising sun or moon, it's letting go of the shadow of deafness in the third house. So this is about letting go of old ways and how you communicate. So remember that the fear of the shadow, because every shadow pattern has a fear, it's rejection. So you may be speaking in a way that ensures that you're not rejected by others. You got to watch how you communicate. So this could be like diluting your speech rather than being bold and direct, right? Being wishy-washy, or trying to sound clever or intellectual to get that other person's approval. This is all the shadow of complexity. So you also want to let go of the need to be mentally certain, believing that you know the situation, that you know that person, and you know what's going on with them, that you know the whole story. And the greatest wisdom is to know that we don't know, just to know that we don't know anything, right? That's the power of not knowing. There's a power in not knowing. And that way, when you say, I don't know, I know that I don't know, the true divine wisdom can flow into you and through you, right? So letting go of the complex use of language and thinking, complex thinking too, and then move into the ninth house, which is a more elevated point of view. So what you're here called to do here is to move from the left brain to the right brain. The left brain is the more masculine, analytical, logical, and then to the more receptive and intuitive brain. So this is moving above the mundane world, right? And taking a more spiritual perspective of life. So elevating your perspective out of the details and looking at the big picture. The big picture. And this is also to simplify your belief systems. So embrace the simple spiritual teachings that resonate with you and leave the rest behind. You know, there's some spiritual teachings, they're like measuring the different levels of consciousness, and right, it's just so complex. It can be really, really simple, right? So embrace those spiritual teachings that really resonate with you. And resonate with you means your heart opens, right? Your heart opens to them, and it's like, you feel truth. Remember, truth isn't figured out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to figure out truth, if that's true or not. It's a recognition. That's what truth is, right? Spiritual truth is just a recognition, because you are truth, right? Satnam, you are truth. I am Satnam. And then when you come across truth, it's just a resonance, you know? So a good spiritual teacher shouldn't be teaching you anything really that you don't know already. Do you know what I mean? It's just a recognition of like, I know that, I know that, I know that. That's when you know something's true, because it resonates within you. It has nothing to do with the mind, right? Truth is a frequency. So maybe you've been thinking about publishing something, right, for a long time, but you get locked into the details, right? Especially as a Virgo. Virgo can get completely overwhelmed, overtaken by all the details, right? Well, you simplify, you listen to your intuition. That's the fast way. And your intuition will guide you to the most efficient and simple way of achieving that goal. And also, if you're a teacher, right, because the ninth house rules the teacher, look at ways you can simplify your use of language, right? The tools that you use, and let the divine speak through you, right? Let the divine speak through you unfiltered, right? Unfiltered. And you'll be amazed at how eloquent you sound when you embrace this gift of simplicity, because your heart takes over. The heart takes over organizing all the words and putting them all together for you, right? And Virgos are seeking perfection. They're seeking perfection. And this is why they can be so hard on themselves and others, right? They want that Pisces, right? They want perfection. This is why they're so obsessed with improvement, right? Self-improvement. But be authentic, right? Don't forget the 8. You got to be authentic. You have to be yourself. And then people will hear you. They'll hear you. Okay. That's Virgo. And then let's go for Libra. Libra's on the scene here. So Libra, it's taking place in the second, the eighth house axis. So Libra rising sun or moon is letting go of the shadow of deafness in their second house. So this is leaving behind your focus on money and your material possessions and your survival. Right? So this is deafness is about listening to your ego about how you earn money and how you're going to pay your bills. And this is listening to the status quo that says this is the only way that you earn a living. You have to go through these steps. And you have to look at how you're using money as a way to measure your success and value as a human in the world. And this is our conditioning that we receive through our life, right? If we earn this amount of money and we have these material resources, then that means we're successful. So it's about, the second house here, it's all about being the lone wolf, right? And letting go of that, letting go of being the lone wolf, letting go of being independent, right? I don't need anybody. I'm not merging with anybody ever again. This is my stuff. It's my material possessions, my. And getting overly attached to the material world. So simplicity just means that it's easier to share resources with another person, right? Or a neighborhood. So I never understood that, why every house had to have their own lawnmower. It's like, why don't you just have one or two, share them, right? So that's just an example. So this is about opening yourself up. For Libra, is opening yourself up and letting the walls come down, right? There's such a thing as healthy boundaries, and Libras are challenged with boundary setting, right? So sometimes when we start setting boundaries, we go overkill, right? We're not doing boundaries, we're doing like walls, right? 50-foot walls that nobody can enter whatsoever, right? And this is what's keeping you from sharing with others, right? Any past trauma or pain where you were taken advantage of. So when you embrace sharing with another person, sharing yourself, not just your material resources, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, right? But you've got to address this fear of rejection. So you want to listen to your intuition to bring this gift of simplicity here. And so this is also trauma. Could be like that you're being called to heal some old trauma from the past, and not to go into the complexity in the mind, that this can be done in a simple and profound ways, right? If you open up, like you're just opening yourself up to the world, opening up yourself to others in relationships. Okay. I don't see any Libras. I don't see any signs. Okay. Let's see. And let's go for Scorpio. Okay. And Scorpio. Okay, we're in the second half now. Scorpio. So this is taking place for Scorpios in the first and the seventh house. And this is Scorpio rising sun or moon. It's letting go of the shadow of deafness in their first house. So this is letting go of an unhealthy focus on yourself, right? So as a Scorpio, you're probably probing anyway. Scorpios are very probing. They like to get to the bottom of things. They like to get to the truth, right? Good detectives. So they can psychoanalyze themselves up and down, right? Turning that energy on yourself. And you can psychologically rip yourself apart as a Scorpio. And this is keeping you from relationships, loving relationships, right? This is wrong with me, and that's wrong with me, and I've got to fix this, and I've got to fix that, and I'm not attractive enough for another person to desire me. There can be a lot of inadequacies around your appearance. I've got to improve my appearance, right? Maybe you're spending way too much time in front of the mirror, metaphorically and figuratively, like looking at all your flaws, right? Looking at all your flaws, and a lot of reasons to keep you from relationship, right? But Scorpios are meant to merge, right? They're very transformative. I was in a relationship with a Scorpio way back, and we completely entered the relationship as two different people, right? And then left as a completely different people. We completely transformed one another, right? So that's Scorpio. That's the power of Scorpio in relationships, right? You're meant to merge with another person while still maintaining yourself, though your organic, authentic self. So there can be a fixed stubbornness here, right? And this is listening to your ego when you're listening to all the BS about all your weaknesses and your inadequacies and your appearance and all that stuff. So it's being deaf to your intuition. So now you're being called to move towards relationships in a simple way, right? A simple way. This could be a resurrection in your relationships. Do I like this person? Like they start right there. How do I feel about this person? It can be as simple as that. Does that person like me? And Scorpio's favorite word is why, right? Why, which makes things complex. Why does that person like me? Well, I better mold myself into a shape that that person wants, right? So it's bringing the focus back to you. You don't want to do that. You want to focus on them as a Scorpio. They already like your appearance, right? You don't need to improve. That's, you stop, you see, you let go of that weight. So this is good for you to get out of your own head and then focus on your partner or future partner. And your partner will be very Taurus-like. You're probably already attracted to Taurus already. So simple in a good way, right? Simple in the high frequency way, peaceful. Someone you can relax with and enjoy sensual pleasures with, right? Simple, simplicity. That's what you want in your partnership. No crazy drama, right? No crazy drama. And Taurus does not like drama. If you know any bulls, they don't like drama. They like peace, right? So listen to your intuition when it comes to the right partner for you, especially if you have old childhood wounds that you haven't dealt with, right? That you haven't healed. You may attract that crazy to you, but you want to be discerning. Like, no, I just want my drama on Netflix. I don't want that in my partnership anymore. I want peace in my partnership. And that's exactly what you'll get when you start to claim it, right? And start to you've been working on yourself for a while. So yeah. Okay. Any Scorpios? Oh, we got the Libras. Okay. Sagittarius. Okay. Sagittarius is taking place in the 12th and the 6th houses. So Sagittarius rising sun or moon, letting go of the shadow of deafness in your 12th house. So this is about letting go of ways in which you escape, in ways that you escape. And I totally get it, right? Wanting to escape right now. So this could be through addictions, like the usual suspects, drugs, alcohol. But it could also be Netflix or the news. It could be addicted, escaping through fantasy, social media, fantasies you have about your future, right? Fantasies that you have now, not rooted in the present moment. So wanting to numb out, right? That inner voice, this is deafness, your intuition that's telling you something you don't want to hear. Have you ever had that experience where your intuition is, I talk about this in my video, right? It repeats the same message over and over and over again. It's neutral, but sometimes you don't want to hear it because you know you have to change. You try to ignore it and it keeps coming. It gets louder and louder and louder until something happens in your life to intervene so that you do get that message. So this is a place where your mind wants you to be far, far, far from reality, right? This escapism. And fantasies can also be like the good stuff. You know, the white knight's going to come and save me, right? This group is going to save the planet, all those fantasies. But fantasies can also be nightmares, right? So this is the ego and mind creating a nightmare of what could happen in the future. Or indulging in a fantasy of the savior, right? That's the positive fantasy. Or spending way too much time in solitude, right? Spending way too much time on your own. And especially now, right? The mind can fool you into saying it's safer to live in your imagination rather than in the real world. And if you were a child, Sagittarius, where you spend a lot of time alone anyway as a child, you'll naturally go there, right? You'll naturally go there, like you'll want to escape into your mind. And you can do that in a crowd. You can be surrounded by friends and family and you can still tune out and check out, let your subconscious take over like a robot. You don't necessarily have to be like physically alone, but you can be in solitude even when you're in a group of people. The negative frequency of solitude. So now you're being called to move out of escapism and be of service to others, to be of service to others. And as spiritual people, we can say those words from 12 step, right? Let go, let God. Let the divine handle everything. And I'm going to call this surrender, right? Meanwhile, I'm checked out. So, but you need to look at this more carefully. Am I surrendering? Am I truly surrendering? Or am I escaping my responsibilities, right? Am I escaping my responsibilities? Am I escaping my soul purpose, right? Because we're destined to meet certain people. We're destined to help certain people in this lifetime. So your service could be as simple as your presence, like your presence, right? Fully in your form, like fully present, fully here. Right? So it could be your presence. And this means you're not hijacked by your imagination. You're not hijacked by that world of fantasy. This is also about ending, Sagittarius. So you're ending a cycle where you were locked away in a sense, locked away in a sense. You may have not literally locked away, but just more aloof, more distant, So now it's the time to embrace a new cycle of service, which will bring you joy. Remember, our soul purpose gives us such joy. It's that feeling of ecstasy and rapture when we're doing our soul purpose, when we're fully in it, surrendered to our soul purpose. And this doesn't mean that the outside world doesn't have its stuff, right? And that life can be, well, not hard, but not easy. You know what I mean? But you're in this bliss inside, right? It's not dependent on the external world. So this soul purpose can give you great joy, and the service to others can bring you great joy. And this is about you getting back into the world. So simplifying what this looks like for you. So simplifying your daily routines and your health routines, decluttering and organizing, right? So that you feel free, like you feel supported. You're supporting yourself in a sense, right? To go do your, in a practical way, to do your soul purpose. And also ask yourself, how do you want to serve humanity? And listen to your intuition. And it could be really, really simple. It doesn't have to be this Mother Teresa thing, right? It can be really, really simple. And it has to be fun, right? And give you a sense of freedom, because Sagittarians love to have fun. Sagittarius loves to have fun and adventure and to be free. And your service can be all of this and more. And this is bringing you back into the world. Okay. And let's go for Capricorn. There's Capricorn. There. Goat. Okay. So Capricorn is taking place in the 11th and the 5th house. So Capricorn rising sun or moon is letting go of the shadow of deafness in their 11th house. So this could be giving some friends the heave-ho, right? Letting go of some friends that make your life way too complex, right? You may give your friend's voice way too much weight over your own inner voice. And you may be overly focused on your friend's problems and needs, which makes you super serious, right? And Capricorns are prone to seriousness anyway, right? So you may have to let go of an addiction too, to the internet, to social media, spending way too much time with technology and watching your political reports and your news shows and right? Staying abreast of everything that's going on in the world and taking in way too much information, which creates a noisy mind, right? That's that shadow of deafness, a noisy mind. And this means that your inner voice gets drowned out, right? So you're really being called to drop the seriousness of the world and have some fun. Poor Capricorn, eh? Yeah. And I feel for them. I know a few Capricorn rising and Capricorn suns here, and they've been through hell and back, right? It's like just one thing after another. And if you're a Capricorn, you can probably relate to this because they've been under great pressure. Capricorns have been under great pressure since 2008, right? That's a long time. And so out of all the zodiac signs, Capricorn deserves to have a little fun, right? Let's give them some fun. That's what the divine said. So simplicity. What's your idea of fun as a Capricorn? And don't listen to the status quo. Status quo says fun means traveling somewhere warm, getting drunk, and sitting on the beach for 2 weeks and doing nothing but gorging yourself, right, on food. And maybe quickly go to some tourist attractions, right? That's the collective view of fun, but that's changing, right? Vacation. So you've got to look at like what's fun mean to you? What do you do that relaxes you? That brings a smile to your face? What do you enjoy? Right? What do you enjoy? Like really explore that. You know, Capricorns, sometimes you can't go back to your childhood because Capricorns grow up so they're born like as adults in a sense, right? They're like super responsible right from day one, right? But you've got to discover that. Like, what brings a smile to my face? What do I enjoy? Well, Taurus, right, rules your fifth house. So whatever rules your fifth house, that's going to give you an idea what you love, right? What gives you enjoyment? What gives you pleasure? So it has to do something with nature, right? Moving away from the technological world, the metaverse, the 11th house, into the natural world, which could be like hiking or gardening or pets too. They count. Maybe walking under the stars, cooking and eating good, healthy, organic foods, whatever that is for you, right? And playing, play. And Capricorn, the words Capricorn and play, that's an oxymoron right there, right? This is the house, the fifth house where you're called to go. This is the house of play and fun and joy. So expressing yourself creativity in a creative way, right? Expressing yourself. Pick up some kind of art practice for no purpose, right? Capricorns always need a purpose. No purpose whatsoever other than self-expression. You know what would be a good exercise for Capricorns are those the sand mandalas that the Tibetans do. Have you seen those? They spend all this time on these beautiful sand mandalas, right? And then at the end, they just like brush it all away. And it's like it's a metaphor for the transitoriness of our world, right? Just what I'm saying is no purpose other than self-expression. And then let your overly serious inner child finally come out and play, right? So you may be called to do some inner child work during this time too, until well later than that, because it's in the fifth house for longer than July 31st. So this is also about the house of romance. And where have you been deaf to romance? Where you've been listening to your ego, right? I got no time for that. I've got duties. I got responsibilities. Maybe you've been putting your hand up when romance comes knocking on your door. So you want to listen closely to your intuition for these matters. This is where you're going to grow and evolve through joy and play and romance. So it can be simple, right? Doesn't mean you're going to run down the aisle with this person, right? But they're fun, they're attractive, and that's exactly what you need right now is some fun and laughter. So romance is an emotional attraction. It's an emotional attraction. It feels good, right? It feels good. So Capricorns out there are going to have a great love story unfold for them, and it's coming soon. So they got to get ready for fun and romance and to really like, I made it, right? This 2008 pressure, I made it. And Pluto's coming out of Capricorn in 2026. So yeah, you're almost done. You're the muffin in the oven and you're coming out. You're coming out of the oven. So you've been working on yourself for quite a while because so many planets have been in Capricorn in that first house, right? Okay. Are there any Capricorns? We want to applaud them if they're here. I applaud them. All the Capricorns listening. Okay. So let's go for Aquarius. And I saw that there was an Aquarius here. A spiritual girl is Aquarius, right? No. Libra rising. Okay. So Aquarius, this is taking place in the 10th and the 4th house. So Aquarius rising sun or moon is letting go of the shadow of deafness in their 10th house. So letting go of being overly focused on your work and your public image, right? At the expense of your emotional self. And you're probably way too much Aquarius in your masculine energy. And it's about bringing your feminine energy, right? Into balance. So take care of your inner self, right? The self that no one sees, that inner private self. The only one that sees it is you. You want to start taking care of that. And there can be deafness here to your inner self with the voice of the ego that says, well, what about my duties? I can't focus on that. What about my responsibilities? I've got no time for this emotional stuff. I've got a job to do, right? So I want to remind Aquarius that when you're connected, we're all connected, right? To the whole of humanity. We're all connected. When you serve yourself, and we're connected through the greater emotional body. This is what, right? We're connected as a humanity. That when you serve yourself from love, you automatically serve everyone else, right? So if you call and it's like, oh, I'm not feeling that great. Usually we have an excuse if we're physically sick. That's why some people get physically sick. And that's like their subconscious mind will actually create that so that they rest. They have an excuse. Well, I have an excuse to rest because physically I'm not feeling well. But you want to go to where it starts. The source of that is like you're out of balance, right? And it starts with the emotions. And sometimes we're just emotionally out of balance. Have you ever woken up like that? And it's just like, I just feel a little bit emotionally out of balance right now. I don't feel like I can do this reading. You know, sometimes I'll feel like that. It's like I feel like I'm not going to give them my best self. And it's not just about them, it's about me, right? Because you want to be in integrity. I want to give my best self to this person. So I'll email, give them some notice, right? Not just 5 minutes before. I'm really not feeling up for this. The reading, I want to give my best self. Can we reschedule? 10 times out of 10, that person will say, oh, thank you, right? I have this come up for me and I wasn't ready and that works way best for me. And they're all happy, right? So this is what I'm saying. When you're in the truth, in that capital T truth, and really coming from a place of love for yourself and that other person, it's going to serve them too. It's going to serve them too when you're connected to the whole. Yeah. So you want to remind yourself of that. And you're being called to bring this gift of simplicity to your emotional self. So bring the gift of simplicity to your home, right? Your home where you live, and declutter, right? You can declutter, you can simplify your home so that it works best for you. Material things hold a frequency so they can create clutter in the mind, right? Because you look at it, it's like, oh, I got to do this with it, or I have to put that in the garbage, or I got to do it. It comes with all these actions, right? That can cause stress. So decluttering is a great way to bring this gift of simplicity in, especially for you, Aquarius. And then bring your attention off of your work to your inner self, to your home, and to your family. So I mean, you don't work at all, but you bring more of your focus on this area of your life. And that's until July 31st, right? And then the thing is, when you do that, where you're supposed to focus on, which I've been talking about, on all the signs, then the other one will take care of itself, right? The other one will take care of itself. The house that you're leaving. Okay. And then we've got Pisces. Okay, we got Pisces. There we go. Pisces is up. The last one. Okay. So for Pisces, this is taking place in the 9th and the 3rd house. And this is Pisces rising sun or moon. It's letting go of the shadow of deafness in your 9th house. So this is about your belief systems, right? And the way that you see the world. It's your worldview. So our beliefs, I did a video on this way back. Our beliefs are actually thoughts, right? Our beliefs are only thoughts, and they're thoughts on steroids, right? And often our beliefs that we've inherited, they're not even ours. They're passed down by our ancestors, from our mother and our father and our grandparents and so on and so on. And then they create the lens in which we see the world. So often these beliefs are there to protect us, right? Like they're not like cruel and malevolent things passed down. They're to protect us, right? That's the intention. So for example, right, but in a warped way, So for example, if your mother and your father divorced when you were a young child, and remember, childhood goes from 0 to 21. We're out of the childhood development stage after 21. Then you may have a belief that, well, I'll never get married because it ends in a painful divorce. And if you say that to yourself, or one of your parents actually said that to you, never get married because everybody gets divorced and it's not worth it, and laying their trip on you, right? Never depend on another person or open up to another person. These beliefs, these thoughts get really nailed into the subconscious, and this is how you start to view the world. Right? So the belief could be that love, right? To love somebody is to be vulnerable, and then setting yourself up for pain and hurt and betrayal. And it's unsafe, and it always ends in pain, right? So that's how you're going to view relationships. So you never put yourself out there, really, or you attract that exact experience that confirms your belief, right? That I will be betrayed and that person will leave me. And so that's your belief. And of course, that's your lens, and that's what you're going to attract, and that's what you're going to see, right? We see what we believe, right? It comes from our beliefs, and that's what we see. So Pisces, you've got to let go of all your beliefs. That's the way to do it. Like, put them all on the table, all your beliefs, and then swipe them away, every single one of them. And then watch your mind and watch your dreams, right? Pisces are big dreamers. And the dreams will show you the archetypes that are working deep within your subconscious mind, like sabotaging your joy, right? Behind the scenes in your subconscious mind. So you want to ask yourself, bring the belief back on the table one by one, right? Do I believe in this? Right? Do I believe in this? Why do I believe in this? And is it true? Is it true? That's the big question. So now you're moving into the 3rd house, and that's where you need to go. And that's about facts, gathering facts and information. That's the left brain, right? So is this true? Is this factually true? So the belief that you could tell yourself, here's an example. Well, I'm so lonely. And there's no one out there for me, right? So this is how I see the world. That's my belief. So that's what I'm going to see out in the world. Is this factually true, right? And this even goes, like, there could be a really great person that's in your life, but you can't see them because you're in the lens of that belief, right? So you ask yourself, is this factually true? And then you go back and you think, oh, well, someone did ask me out for dinner a couple weeks ago, but I said no. right? I felt that he wanted to manipulate me and he just wanted sex, right? That's it. So you ask yourself, well, do I know for sure that's true? Do I know for sure that that's true? Did he say that to me, that I only wanted sex? Did he sexualize me? Well, no. Did he show me by his behavior that he was manipulative and deceitful? No. Did his friends that I know really well, have they ever said anything about him in that way? No. Well, maybe the answer is no, right? You go even further into the facts. Well, he did say up front that he wanted to be friends first and wanted to get to know me better. Then you allow for the truth to come, right? The factual truth. And that it's true, he's been honest with me from day one, right? So this is how you unravel the beliefs, like, right? You're chipping away at these belief systems that are keeping opportunities from reaching you. So this is how a belief system can completely overshadow the facts of the situation and affect your worldview. And more importantly, right, keeping these opportunities away from you, Pisces. So you got to look at this. So, and I know Pisces are very compassionate. If you're a Pisces, you're very compassionate and you're sensitive to others. And yes, you've probably been taken advantage by others. But I want to remind you that your sensitivity is your greatest strength, that it's not a weakness. And the North Node is now telling you to stick with the facts, right? Stick with the facts and use your logic now, right? And this is going to break through those belief systems. So you want to simplify your thinking, bring it down to the nuts and bolts, and ask yourself bullseye questions to get to the heart of the matter. And this is going to start to blow up those false beliefs for you. Okay? So that's it for me. 3 o'clock. And we started at 1:30, right? 2:30. How many hours is that? 2.5. Just so I get a sense of how long these live streams take. It was fun anyway. I had fun. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I love your comments. That's great. So leave your comments below. And what do I want to say in closing? I'm going to have another one on Neptune, the big Neptune Jupiter conjunction coming up in April. It's going to be like an April forecast, but I don't know where that's going to live. It may live on someone else's channel, but as long as you're signed up to my newsletter and following me on Telegram. Telegram's the best place to follow me, and then because I can post anything there, and Facebook and Instagram. And then the YouTube community too. I do posts there, which you should probably be able to see. And make sure that you're subscribed and notified, like ring the bell. Because some people have been emailing me and saying that they got unsubscribed and they don't know, or they're not getting notified. So you want to make sure that you're doing that too. And yeah, I'll see you soon. So let's just do here. And I'll see you soon. And please leave your comments below. Okay. Satnam, aloha, everybody. Take care.